Hello, Mercury and Taurus people. Today I'm going to be covering your style of thinking and communicating today. So let's go ahead and get started. You guys are such solid thinkers. Um, Nothing really ever gets past you. You are that stable earth sign, probably the most stable thinker. You guys have like probably the most common sense in the whole zodiac out of all the Mercury placements. And this is because you are that earth sign, you are the first earth sign, and so this is going to give you that sort of stability, in thinking, and fixedness in the way that you communicate, and just the way that you process information and the way that you learn new things. Um, and this is a good thing because you're not just going to be susceptible to believing whatever anyone tells you. You're always going to be questioning things. You're always going to be looking for facts and hard evidence and the logic behind certain concepts and ideas. Things really have to make sense for you and to have some kind of scientific or logical reasoning behind them, behind every concept, every idea that you come across and every person that you meet and you're being exposed to their ideas. It has to make sense for you in your mind for you to really accept it. Your mind is not going to just easily buy into any superstition or any kind of just subjective observation that anyone might have. Like, you're always going to be asking for evidence and for facts. You are an earth sign, so that's primarily what you deal with. You believe what you can see and what you can touch, and yeah, your senses are really going to be an important part of your learning process. This is the best way that you learn, I believe, is when you're able to experience it firsthand through seeing and through tasting, through feeling, through hearing. Because that to you is the basis for reality, and that's how you know something is real and it's not just made up or fiction or just superstition. It's like that's going to be what you experience as the truth and the reality of things. Now, Mercury and Taurus people, you're not going to be so much about analyzing things, about taking things apart, and you might be interested in seeing how they work because you are a productive earth sign. Your learning is very hands on. And like I said, for you, seeing is believing, and like experiencing with your senses is cause for belief. However, you might not be the type of person who will try to look deeper into things. You're kind of just gonna like take things at face value. Like, if this is what the textbook says, and if this is what scientists and researchers have said, that's evidence enough. Like, I believe it, and why do we really need to look into the deeper meaning of things? Like, this is just the way that the world is. This is just what reality is. Like, that for you is pretty much how your mind works, is just facing things and accepting things at face value, pretty much. You're not really the type to like really read between the lines in certain situations or people. You're just very plain and simple like that in how you process information and learn new concepts. And so when you're communicating with people, you're very sensible and you're very straightforward and simple in the way that you communicate. You're just gonna give your 2 cents and your opinion on something or somebody or your ideas on a situation, and that's just gonna be it. You can be a little bit stubborn in the way that you're thinking, the beliefs that you hold, your opinions. It can be hard for anybody to try and change your mind or try to persuade you. So you might be a little bit fanatical in your beliefs and your thoughts. And you really hold on really tightly to them because this, you know, your thoughts and your opinions might be a source of security for you. Another thing that I want to say about Mercury and Taurus is how graceful and smooth you guys come off in the way that you communicate. When you're expressing your own thoughts and opinions to other people, you can really have that gracefulness about you. The way that you speak, you're ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So this is going to give you a really pleasing way of talking. And it's going to, for other people, it's like almost like music to their ears when they hear you speak because you have a way of just presenting yourself and your communication through the lens of Venus, which is beauty. It is that planet of beauty and grace. And so you might you might find yourself expressing your thoughts, in some kind of artistic way, or in some kind of in a way that people will readily accept, in a way that is just beautiful. It's something that'll be pleasant for other people to experience. It's likely that you guys will be very traditional thinkers. You're gonna go for the ideas that are tried and true, that are really that have been backed by evidence, that aren't, ideas that are not too wild or out there or so far fetched. You're probably the least likely to experiment or to um, come up with like the wild and crazy ideas that nobody's ever really thought of. Mercury and Taurus, you are gonna try to play it safe in the idea in you're gonna try to play it safe in the way that you think, or in the ideas that you're presenting to other people. Um, you can be a little bit old fashioned in that area in your thinking. You don't really see any point of going out there, of thinking really outside of the box. Like, why can't we just, the way that you think is just, why can't we just go with what's always been done? Why can't we just stick with what we know and stick with what's worked before in the past? Like, why do we need to change it? Why do we need to challenge it? You can be very routine like in the way that you think, and it once you find a style of communicating that is very that works for you, and a way of thinking, like a pattern or a belief system that really works for you, it's not likely that you're going to change it. You're not really one for, changing your mind a lot, or challenging the way that things have been working, not just for yourself, but for, your family or people who have come before you. You, like I said, you are a traditional thinker, and you're going to try to find security in concepts and beliefs that you've learned before. Like, if they work for you, it's not likely that you're going to change it or try to challenge it in any way. I can also see this placement making you really good at small talk, and just you're so easygoing and laid back to talk to. You're very chill in the way that you communicate and in the conversations that you have with people. It'll just be so easy and so natural for you to just talk to anyone. Well, you might be a little bit reserved when you're first meeting people, or like when they first get to talk to you. You can be a little bit reserved in revealing a little bit more about yourself. However, when it comes to just small talk or like surface topics, just getting to know people on the surface level, it's pretty easy for you, because you're very casual. You're like a really casual earth sign. You don't really think too deep into things, or try to, pick apart people or their motives, like some other signs would. You're just kind of, what you see is what you get, and you communicate very clearly and simply, and it's just super easy to talk to you. Um, and like I said, you are ruled by Venus, so it is going to be a very nice and really pleasant experience to talk to you, because you are going to present yourself and your ideas in that really, graceful and charming Venusian quality. Then another thing that I want to bring up about Mercury and Taurus is how well they are, how good they are at keeping their promises. You are always gonna know that Mercury and Taurus means it. There's really nothing insincere about these people. When they talk, it's always, just very plain and simple, and they're not gonna really say anything to flatter anybody or BS them. It's always very straightforward, and they are that stable, fixed earth sign. So you're gonna know that everything that they communicate is always going to be something that's very sensible and consistent with what they've said or believed in the past. It's not very common that you're going to find a Mercury in Taurus who kind of goes back against their word or contradicts whatever they've said before. It's more likely that you're going to find them being very consistent with what it is that they believe. And this just kind of goes along with what I said before about it's being a little bit difficult for them to change their minds about certain things, and they do have that. They do like to maintain patterns in the way that they express themselves. And so what I mean by that is that it's not likely that they will waver from what they're comfortable with in how they speak or in how they think. So they're going to want to maintain that consistency and maintain those patterns in the way that they think, and just have their past words match their present, whatever it is that they're saying right now. They're likely to maintain the same thinking patterns as they've always had throughout their whole lives. You can also see Mercury and Taurus when in the way that they learn things, learn new concepts, or when they're trying to study something new. They're going to want to go at it at their own pace. They're not going to appreciate teachers or people around them who kind of push them or try to pressure them into learning something at, faster than what they're normally used to. They're going to want to just take their time and and really absorbing the information and getting the most out of it. And they're going to really work hard to understand it completely and fully. These people are, the way that they approach learning and new concepts is very steady and in a very determined manner. So once they have their sights set on learning something new or taking on a new subject, learning a new language, they're really going to put their whole mind to it. They're really going to set their minds to it, and they're not going to want to go back on it or flake out on it. They're going to be very determined and very driven to learn that new subject. So yeah, these people really like to learn at their own pace. I think it's a positive thing for them because they're not going to rush into things that they don't think that they can learn. Or it might, on the other hand, it might be something detrimental for them because, in situations where they're going to need to learn things a lot quicker, or they have, a deadline to learn something, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them because they're going to be stubborn. They're going to just want to say, want to take things at their own pace and just learn things on their own time, in their own terms. I can also see Mercury and Taurus being very comfortable with discussing and having a very easy grasp when it comes to talking about finances, when it comes to talking about things that they really enjoy and things that really give them pleasure. They really live for the things that make them feel good and just make life feel very pleasurable for them. So they might have a tendency to talk a lot about, their favorite music, their favorite books, their favorite food, and as well as, how much money that they make. They can be one of those people who are just very comfortable with talking about that type of thing. Because Venus does rule all of those things. It rules your money and your savings and your finances and just the things in life that really make you feel good, that make you feel beautiful and comfortable. So I think that's about it for Mercury and Taurus today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative in some way in learning about this placement, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, please, if you haven't yet, and to give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.